Hi, my name is Mario, and I will be presenting my class project for CSE 335. The application that was developed was a diet/weight loss monitoring app, and the key features were that it allowed the user to track the daily food eaten by a person, for example, the calories, the carbs. It allowed users to develop weekly meal plans. It allowed users to track their overall weight loss and BMI. It implemented a slide-out navigation menu called SW Review View Controller, which is an external library. It allowed users to search for gyms or health stores using a map view. It called a REST API, and it implemented a web view to search for different sites. Okay, so this is the overall design of the application. There are 8 main view controllers. We have the home page, which is this one. We have my progress, which is this one. My profile. Then we have the weekly food planner. Then we have the search community, which is a web view. And then we have the find gyms and stores, which is a map view. And then we have the daily track food, which contains the web API. And many of these view controllers have other view controllers attached to them. I have 5 data handling files and 8 entities for core data. So I'm going to show you a quick demo of the application right now. So this is my application. This is the home page. And then I can go to, for example, to my profile. And it will allow the user to, save their name, their age, their weight, their height. And then you can upload an image using the UI picker image. And then, for example, let's say I want this one. Then let's change my age to 22. And I click on save. And then the data is saved using the core data. So if I go back, the information is saved. And then I can go to my progress. And my progress shows the previous weight, the current weight, the weight loss gain, the percentage difference, the BMI, and the total loss. For example, I want to add a new weight. I click on this button, and then let's say I gained 10 pounds, so 160. And then I save weight, and you see all the new changes. So my previous weight was 150, my current weight is 160, is a positive gain of 10, my difference, my total loss, and my current BMI. And again, this information is saved using core data. So if I go back, the information is still there. Then let's go to search community, which is the web view. I have 3 table views. So if I can scroll down, I can scroll, and if I click on one of them, it will open a web view of the current site. And there you go. I can go back and let's say I want to open this one, and the web view works. Then I can go to my map view, which is the find gyms and stores. For example, let's type a zip code and then search. It will take me to the zip code, and then I can change the type of maps. I can search for gyms. So for example, a gym right there or over here, or I can search for stores. And yep. Alright, so these 2 are probably the biggest ones from this application. The weekly meal plan. So the weekly meal plan is pretty distinct because it has 7 different days, and those 7 different days they have their own information and data, and this is done by using again core data, but having a predicate of the distinct date. For example, let's say I just want Mondays, so I just filter the data by Monday or by Tuesday, etc. And I'm just going to demonstrate this. So for example, let's say I want to add a breakfast item. I click on this one. Let's say an apple. Then I click on save. Data is saved. I go back, and there we go. We have another apple. Now I can delete the item by click on this trash can. It's gonna say which one do you want to delete. For example, I want to say breakfast, and it will delete the information, but it will not delete the information of the other days. So this is very important because we don't want to delete, for example, the breakfast of Wednesdays or Tuesdays, just Mondays. And then again, these are 3 table views for each category. And then I can click on stats, which will show me the calories, the carbs, the fat, the sugar for the lunch, dinner, breakfast, and the total. As we can see, we have nothing for breakfast, and it works 0, 0, 0. And I'll do, for example, let's say I want to add a dinner for Tuesday. And I click on save, and there you go, steak. But then you can also see that Wednesdays does not have a new item, or Thursdays or Fridays or Saturdays. It only adds to Tuesday. And then the track food, which is similar to the weekly food planner, but the difference is that this is only for one day. And again, let's say I want to add something for the lunch. We have 2 options. We can either add a new item, or we can search for the food information. So if I click on this is where I call my web API, and I can click on the help, which is a type of food item, for example, apple, eggs, and bacon. So let's go with eggs and bacon. It's going to give me a table view of items. And let's, for example, let's say first watch. It's going to show me the calories, the carbs, the total fat, the cholesterol. I can go back and I can click on this one. It's going to show me the new information for this. And let's say, okay, I know the calories, the cholesterol, the carbs. I can go back and I can click on add a new item. I can go eggs and bacon, 90. Then I can click on save, back, and there we go. And then I can click on summary, which will allow me to select a calorie goal. So for example, let's say I want to know how many calories I have left if I set a goal of this number. So it's going to show me this is my goal, this is how much I've eaten, and this is how much I have left. And if, for example, if I click on this one, it's going to show me that I went over my limit, and then it's going to give me a brief overview of the numbers. And then because these are table views, I can just slide to the left, which will delete. And again, these 2 informations are saved using core data. And and then again, this is the slider navigation menu. So you can either slide to the left or slide to the right, or click on this button. And this is like a table view. And yep, that's pretty much my app. Okay, so a class diagram. As you can see, my class diagram is quite large, so I decided to break it down into 3 parts. This is going to be the first part. This is going to be the second part, and then this is going to be the third part. All right, so the main thing about my project is because I decided to implement the slider navigation, I had to use this SW Review view controller, which allows the whole functionality of sliding left to the right for the navigation menu. And then this table view controller is the one that has like the actual menu. This is like the home page, and from here you can go to the different view controllers, main view controllers. For example, my profile, my progress, searching community, which is the web view, and the other ones. And then these 2 are the entities used for core data. This is the my progress entity used for my progress view controller. This is the profile entity used for my profile view controller. And then this one and this one, these files contain all of the functions to actually calculate the numbers, or to fetch data, or to save data. These view controllers are just calling these functions, but all the actual implementations are done by these files, these model files. And then I have, for example, my profile, I have a image picker controller, And what else? This is my web view, which is pretty simple, nothing too important. This is the second part of my diagram. Again, this is the weekly meal plan view controller, which is I guess controlled by the table view controller, and the weekly meal plan view controller just sets the table view, and it prepares several segues, and then it has, for example, the weekly second view controller has like a save button, and then again the weekly meal plan view controller has a planner model, which does all of the data manipulation and handling. For example, the save items, the fetch records, the set value, the remove data. Again, I try to separate the data handling from the controller. And then these two are just, well, this one is the map view, which just does your basic search. It does you zoom in, and then this is just like an about the author view controller, which is pretty simple. And then I have 1, 2, 3 entities for core data, which go to the weekly meal plan view controller. This is the third part of my class diagram. It has again 1, 2, 3 entities for core data, which all go to the track food view controller. The track food view controller sets the table views and prepares segues, which all go to this one and this one. It again has a food model file that does all the data handling and manipulation. For example, save an item, fetch records, set values, delete rows, and then the tracker food view controller goes to a decision table, or the calories goal view controller. And again, they mostly just prepare segues, because this one either goes to this one or this one, and then this one goes here. And that's pretty much it. This is just a quick recap of what the MVC architecture is. The model is responsible for maintaining data. View is responsible for displaying the data to the user, and then controller controls the interactions between the model and the view. This is my MVC architecture design that was implemented for this project. we have the view, which the basic again is just to display all the data. So it reacts to user tabs and interactions. It displays the table views for the navigation menu, for the track food, and for the weekly meal plan view controllers. It updates the person's profile, like the name and the age, and the person's progress, like the BMI. It shows the overall food nutritional values. It displays the map view, the web view, the picture for profile, and then it displays the results to a table after calling the REST API. And then again, it does user interaction to the controller, and via pressing buttons, or view by adding a table view cell, or by just interacting with the map view or the web view. The controller is it's what the controller just is. I guess it handles the interaction between the view and the model. It in our case, it updates the views with the new data. It handles the user tabs interactions. It fetches data from the model using the correct entities. From the core data, it sends changes in data to core data. It fetches the data from calling a REST API. It sets up the map view and the web view, and sets up the navigation table view menu. And then the controller to the view, it updates the view. And again, the update is just it displays the REST request info after the API call. It initializes and updates the map views and web views and all these other ones. And then from the controller, we go to the model using the update. And in the model is where we handle all the data. So the model, it's a core data storage and object models for my progress, track food, for a weekly meal planner, for my profile. So the information is all saved into, from these view controllers, all saved into the model. And then the model also notifies the controller of changes to the data, and which will update the controller with new data. So then the model will notify the controller when information has changed, like the weight, nutritional values, or when data has been added or deleted. And lastly, when the map location needs to be found. And so again, a quick recap: the view interacts with the controller user via user actions. The controller interacts with the view via updates. The controller interacts with the model via, again, updates. And then the model will notify the controller of any changes to the data. Capabilities and limitations of the project. Again, I already spoke about this, but some capabilities for the project is a core data, map view, web view, table views, the UI image picker controller. The model and controllers are separated, and it calls a REST API and parses the data. Limitations and/or corrections. Error handling: it does not handle input errors. So my application, for example, let's say I want to just enter integers. If I enter strings, I should not be able to allow that, but it does. There are too many view controllers, so I kinda underestimated how many view controllers I was gonna need, and there's too many in my opinion. And there are many ways I could have simplified the overall project design. For example, the web view controller uses 3 table views, and each table view has a web view controller. So I believe this one has, like, each table view just has its own view controller, when I could have just used one. Does not handle different units. I think it must be in pounds or in inches. Core data: if the user has multiple devices, they wouldn't be able to access the data, because again, it's just core data, which is just saved to your local device. So in the future, maybe I could apply cloud storage for multiple data access. And then while I can call an API to look up a food item, the user can't select the item and save it into the table for the daily tracker. You must manually enter the data, which again is I can, in the future I could have done something differently. Lessons learned from this project. Well, I learned how to correctly implement the model view controller in mobile development. This included separating the NS-manage object context from the controller. I learned how to plan, design, and implement an entire iOS application from the beginning to the end. It is very important to plan and have a feasible design before starting, which makes the app development process a lot easier. I learned how to implement the slider navigation as a menu. This was done on my own. Overall time, I learned that planning ahead of time is quite important, because I underestimated how long it would take to develop this application from beginning to end using my original design. I had to note that I had to change up a couple of things because I was running out of time. And then also, testing is very important, especially in this type of application where I use several different entities for core data. I had to make sure that the data was correctly saved into the correct managed object. Suggestions for improvements for the class project. Overall, for the project, I don't really have that many suggestions. It was pretty clear on the objective. Labs and homework, no suggestions really. I really like having a lab day. Maybe a group assignment would be nice, or group homework, or group lab. I did feel it was quite rushed and quick about CloudKit and about gaming development, and I would have loved to learn more about the design aspect of mobile application development. Um, and overall, I thought this was a great intro class for mobile development, and especially for the iOS. And that's my presentation.